Disclaimer. The opinions expressed in this show are unfiltered and unrehearsed. Statements conveyed are personal and issued to the best of the ability and knowledge of the cast. They should not be taken as conclusive facts. Does This Offend You is not responsible for any mental, physical, or emotional damage sustained by its listeners. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to another episode of Does This Offend You? Today we talk about the fast track lane, what race you technically are, men in relationships versus women in relationships, and second chances. And if you're just tuning in again after giving up on us the first time, please take us back. We can change. We swear we can change. But we probably won't. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.
What do I have to say to make some money? What do I have to say to make some money? No offense,
There we go.
Right on. Okay.
Yeah, so I guess while
Yeah, I
Vlad
don't know
isn't-
about that conversation on being late and ready and stuff. Nah, anyway, I'm not going to go back into that. Yeah, what's up, Omid?
yeah, well, a couple things, but I guess primarily I just want to point out that since I started working and making money, I want to make an addendum statement regarding the fast track lanes. I think they're a fucking gift from God. Oh my God. I was like in San Jose running late in like the dead heat of traffic, and it was like stop and go. It was bad, backed up all the way to like it wasn't at San Jose, but it started off somewhere towards Mountain View, and it just kept getting progressively worse up until Redwood City. And I was like looking over at the fast track lane, and I was like, $5, and I cut this commute down from an hour to like 30 minutes. I'm in. I did it, and it felt so good just passing by all of those cars and getting home at like a reasonable time.
Okay. Well, first of all, congratulations. I didn't know you started working.
I don't have a consistent job or anything. I'm just making some money.
Oh, okay. So you're driving a really long way to go work a corner, but good for you. Secondly, what I will say is that about the fast track lane. So in case you don't know what he's talking about, which I'm sure you don't, those are callback to our very second episode right here. Click on that. So the fast track, you actually thought so you actually skipped traffic because you paid $5 and on an actual freeway, right?
Oh yeah.
I thought they just
101.
charged everybody who used the freeway. I didn't think it was just like a choice you could make.
No, it's only on the left lane.
Right. Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, it's only for the lane that's meant for going fast. Yeah. So instead of having fast track lanes where the diamond where it's like only our carpool lanes, now it's been converted into a fast track lane, which means that if you have fast track or you're willing to pay, you just skip traffic.
Oh, yeah, that changes everything. I thought it was just like a forced tax on people when we talked about this a couple months ago.
Really?
Well, that's what it was. Like, now I'm seeing it. I don't know if maybe that's just one particular type of fast track, but what I've been seeing is that like the entire use of a freeway is now fast track applicable, depending on where you're going.
Absolutely not. No. No,
there's
there's no fast track lane that charges you in that manner, because that is illegal. What they can do is they just siphoned off the final lane that people usually use for passing. Or like, I guess now then there's a new left lane for passing, but now there's a carpool lane, but the carpool lane is just, hey, you know what? We can't expect everybody to, carpool. Just pay extra money and you can speed through traffic.
Well, it's not illegal. It's like we use it for bridges. All the lanes on the bridges are you get charged to use, and I think other states also use it on a freeway basis too, not just bridges. Like if you go a certain distance, they charge you for using their freeway. It's fucked up, but the government deems it necessary to pay for
Absolutely not.
infrastructure.
I've changed my mind completely. I am totally for it. I mean, I don't want it to be the case, but I've also realized no matter how many lanes you add to a freeway, if there's gonna be traffic, there's gonna be traffic, because traffic isn't caused by like the lanes as much as it's caused by shitty drivers. So the fact that they have one lane that filters out all the idiots because you can't just go in and out all the time and stopping it and you don't stop it frequently. It just right through. And let me tell you, my time I can never get back. I can get $5 back, but I can't get my time back. So that was 100% worth it. Also, I thought about it deeply because I was like, man, I used to think so strongly of these lanes until I used it. And I realized I think I'd rather drive at a decent speed for an hour than sit in stop and go traffic for 20 minutes. Genuinely.
Absolutely. I make that decision consciously every time I go because there's 101 and there's 280 here in California, the two major highways. 280 is always a longer distance to get to where you need to go, which is why I'm sure why 101 was created in the first place. But 101 always has the most traffic, so I always take 280. It's like an extra 5 miles, but at least I'm going like fast. I'm actually driving. I'm not just sitting in traffic the entire time. I like that. I prefer that. I take it 100% of the time. And every time I think 101's fine, it's like every now and it's like an abusive boyfriend. Like every couple months I'll go back. I'm like, I wonder how 101's doing. Maybe I should hit him up. It's like 3 a.m. I'm like, I'm going to take 101 today. It's fine. He can change. And then I get there and it's fucking traffic again. I'm like, fuck, why do I do this to myself? And then I find myself back on 280. I'll take the extra 5 miles. I don't care.
It's very tempting. I definitely frequently use 101 more, but that's probably because I don't know. I think you live really, really close to 280 versus 101 that just cuts down the center of everything. But 280 for me is like I have to travel down, I think westward for a while and then cut into it. But also, I think 280 has a lot more hills and windy, so it does eat up a little bit more gas and a little bit more time. But again, like it is the easy alternative to 101 that is everyone else's main route. But 280 also doesn't have the fast track lane.
Yeah, what I was going to say about fast track, I lost my train. I got caught going off on a different tangent. Oh yeah, while we're talking about, so you're talking about how like traffic's created by bad drivers or shitty like slow drivers or whatever. Let me ask you this like philosophical question when it comes to traffic. 'Cause the other day I was driving on 101, incidentally, coming from my parents' house, and on the side of the road there was like an accident, and it was like fucking brutal. Like it had just happened. I saw like every detail. I won't get into it. Some guy was like trapped in the driver's seat. The whole, I will get into it. The whole front end of the car got fucking smashed in.
But you won't get into it. But
Anyway, I guess I saw the guy in the passenger seat. So the driver had been taken out, but the guy in the passenger seat was like locked into place. So the jaws of life were coming through, but no one was there yet. So it was like the first responders. And it was pretty fucking nuts. But I'm sitting there like, I get it. It sucks for those people, but I do not like rubbernecking or rubberneckers. They are always responsible for, because this accident is off the side of the road. It's not anywhere near a lane of traffic. It's like in the trees on the side of the road. It's not even on the shoulder. That's how fucking fucked up this accident was. It's completely out of reach. It's not affecting traffic directly, but every motherfucker who wants to gawk at this incident always slows down traffic. And here's my question for that. Like, if you're already caught in traffic and you're looking at the side, you're also doing everything what everyone in front of you is doing, are you also held responsible, or are you just going at the speed of traffic someone else set?
Oh, that's usually how traffic actually starts. Like, if you think about the logistics of how traffic works, you'll notice that if you're driving on the road and someone in front of you is coming to a stop or slowing down, everybody behind them subsequently must do the same. So if you're driving past an accident, for example, you're gonna see that there's people that slow down just to see the wreckage, and that causes behind them everybody to also slow down. Like, that is probably one of the main causes. It's not just an accident that cause traffic, but also when it's during rush hour and everyone's getting out into the freeway and they're all trying to bottleneck, like there's merging lanes. So people in the far right lane are usually slowing down to let the mergers come in. And then there's the assholes that are in that lane that are driving, like they're just chilling. They'll try to cut to the other lane, causing the person behind them to slow down. And everybody, again, behind them, they need to slow down. And then it causes that kind of stop and going from like, because everyone's on the road at once, and that's how you get that. But yeah, I filter people out in my life, like, or at least I judge them heavily if they're the type of person that when there's an accident on the road, they feel the need to look at it as if they can't just YouTube wreckages.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think people are naturally creatures are humans are naturally curious creatures. That's just how they are. But yeah, it always takes one guy, and that's you just described like the physics of traffic because everybody, if you don't want to cause an accident, everybody behind you has to slow down at least like a mile slower than you're driving, and eventually it comes to a dead stop because you can only slow down so much before stopping. That's phantom traffic. If you've ever heard of that concept. All it takes is one guy in front of you to hit their brakes, and you're 65 miles per hour is the guy in front. He hits his brakes at 65. The guy behind him has to hit their brakes to go 60 so it doesn't catch up and hit them or something like that. And if you go back in the line far enough, the person behind, 15 cars back is stopped because they're trying to go slower than the person in front of them. You understand that effect?
Yeah, I also just don't understand like how some people like to be close to the car in front of them. Like, there's people who tailgate, which I can be guilty of just because the person in front of me is moving massively slow. And I think kind of the tailgating is a signal of get the fuck out of this lane and let me pass you. But like beyond that, there are some people that are just way too comfortable being way too close to cars in front of them. And those are the type of people when I'm in the car, like, you know how when you're a passenger, you don't want to say anything out loud, but you're phantom braking, like, oh my God, this person doesn't brake as soon as I do. Like, why are we still going this fast?
Yeah.
Like, I get that same anxiety with people that do. I know somebody that when he's at a red light, he has to like practically be touching the cars in front of his bumper. And I'm like, why is that necessary at all? God forbid this man has like a manual car and they just fall backwards just a little bit. Like, why can't you be like a full car or at least half a car behind each person when you're driving or when you're at a red light? I don't get it.
I think it says a lot about each individual's personality. The people who like need to be up at the bumper, they need to keep their life is always go go go, like aggressive. Like it just tells something about their nature. Like, you always know which fucking person it is too by like how they're driving. Like I know somebody. Like I know we talked about this in the Fast Lanes episode. I'm just like I'll go, but I'm not in a rush to get anywhere. Even though I'll go pretty quickly. But there's always somebody who's riding your fucking bumper. You can tell. If you're not going fast enough, they'll ride your bumper until you're not necessary. Like there's a lane that opened up and they'll go around you and then cut in front of you. They're like, just to show that like, oh my God, I can't believe you. Like, it's almost like petty. Like they want to show you that you're going slow and I'm going faster and you have to go my speed or you suck at driving or whatever. And these kind of people, I don't know what it is about them in their lives that like everything has to be their speed, literally and figuratively, or else you're the fucking problem. But like I was down a one-lane highway, or it's not even a highway. It was like a road. It was like 30 miles per hour. It was like in front of a school or some shit like that. There's a road I would take to near my house. This 30 miles per hour. I'm going like maybe 32, 33 or something. Like I'm just like coasting through this area. It's like a residential, semi-residential. And this person behind me is like on my fucking bumper, only one lane, and then to our left is the oncoming traffic. And this fucking person is riding my bumper. And you can tell, dude, they're fucking getting aggravated. They're like slowing down, speeding up, like they're kind of like looking. They start drifting into the opposite lane of traffic, trying to look for an out, like to like cut around me. And I have no idea what kind of person just has to go, like just wherever they need to be or wherever they're going. They just have to go that speed, the speed of like whatever. I can't explain it to you. Like, there's no other options. Like, would you rather risk going like faster than the recommended speed limit and into oncoming traffic? Or can you just tolerate it for 5 minutes or like 2 minutes, whatever, to get out of the area? I'll never understand those kinds of people. They're fucking insane to me. And I always wish upon them the worst too. Like, please tell me you've been in that position. You watch somebody who's like just completely out of their mind, like they have to go fast and they do some shit like around you, like exactly what I just experienced, and you just want them to go like get hit by a fucking truck, like karma, instant karma. I wish that upon them, every single person I see like that. Oh my God.
I mean, I have the need to want to go faster, and I get pissed off. I'm usually going faster than the speed limit on like empty roads and stuff, but if I'm stuck behind somebody slower than me, I get anxious, but I've yet to do the thing where I cut into a different lane to pass them or anything else that's crazy illegal, like cutting into a shoulder. Well, it depends on how slow they're going though for me to want to do that. But I do see what you're talking about. There are definitely a lot of people out there that just have zero patience. And for me, it's just kind of like, I always have to weigh the costs and the benefits. So for example, when using the fast lane, if I'm looking at like a significant cut in my commute, like a solid 20, 30 minutes, no brainer, I'm taking that lane. But for the most part, if you've noticed that, like, no matter how much weaving you do in traffic, no matter how hard you try to beat certain lights, at the end of the day, you're always gonna end up saving at most 1 or 2 minutes. And if you ever, like, are aware of your surroundings, you'll see that the cars you pass are literally still on your tail. So what did you accomplish by doing all those maneuvers? It's not usually much. So I usually just but I have to be mentally aware of the fact that I'm not I just even though I'm in a rush and I want the illusion that I'm going somewhat faster, it I have to be mentally aware that that's not always the case at all, and I'm just putting myself at some kind of risk. But
Sounds like you have anxiety.
Oh, there he is.
Sounds like you have anxiety.
I have anxiety.
Yeah.
So does
Of
everybody.
what?
That's not true.
Anxiety on what? Of what though?
I don't know. It's anxiety. If you're having to feel like you have to push yourself constantly while driving, that's it's like, I don't know, people's behavior world. They sit down and have to like kick their foot around. I know for a lot of people who can't drive slow because they start to freak out.
It's not
And
anxiety. It's just I hate sitting down that long. I hate being inactive, and I hate feeling like I'm wasting my time. So if that's the anxiety you're referring to, then yeah, I'm just anxious to not be in a car. That's why I don't like taking jobs that are like far away.
are you
Even
claustrophobic?
No, I just don't like sitting down. I'd like being active. I literally walked to the store when I have a fully functional car, and I walked back home. And it's like a good mile and a half away. I just would rather not drive if I don't have to, because I'd rather be walking. The only thing I'm anxious about is wasting my fucking time.
Yeah, we talked about that, like with time, our episode about time here, and then I never thought we'd come down to a third episode talking about traffic, but here we are.
I just felt like the addendum needed to be made because
Yeah.
I was absolutely wrong, and I am of the opinion that if you make a statement and you want to retract it, you should. You should totally be like, I was wrong, and whoever thought of this is a friggin' genius.
So Kanye gets a second chance, is what you're saying.
I mean, I was never against Kanye. Even though he did
Yeah.
get his cancellations done,
Yeah.
I'm still not that mad at him because I want to hear what he has to say in length.
So do you agree with him or disagree with him?
Oh my god.
That's a very loaded question.
We did this already last week. Why are we having this
It's okay. We're
conversation
going back
again?
to it again because now we've had time to
Oh,
marinate on
the
concept
fucking
and come
sequel?
back.
I have done zero research or marinating since that
Shut up.
conversation. I don't
Okay.
care enough. Okay, fine. Go ahead.
You're asking a very loaded question because I can't say I agree with him because I don't agree with 100% of the things he says or does, but I also don't disagree. He said a lot of things that are for the most part true, like the compliments to the Jews essentially. He also said a lot of things that were kind of out there, but I think the most important thing is that Kanye, I hope, doesn't realize the implications of what he's saying, and I do think he is mentally unstable, and he needs to like be careful because the guy is just an attention whore. He needs to be the alpha at all times, and that's what gets him in trouble. But is he wrong about all the statements made about the Jews? Not 100%. He's not 100% right. He's not 100% wrong.
I think he's 90% right. I think most things that he said are fucking true, whether Jews want to fucking recognize it or not. It is true. We do control shit. We do take advantage of a lot of shit. We have set up a lot of inner circle type things that have really propelled our community compared to others. He sounds jealous.
He is
wants
jealous.
He wants to have what we have, which I respect and understand him for. I think it's something a lot of people are trying to like silence him or say that fuck you. It's like, for what? Take a compliment, bitch.
Yeah. So the important part though is that it's the implications of what he's saying, because the rhetoric that he's speaking of and the absolutes that he's speaking in is the exact same shit that's used to persecute Jews in the Holocaust, Holocaust era and everything.
Regardless of anything, get persecuted.
Exactly.
because
Well,
doesn't really matter.
it doesn't matter that it's happening. It's just the fact that now we have someone that's very prominent saying these things, and honestly, I say God bless him because the real racists are the ones that are popping out of the woodworks being like, Kanye was right, fuck the Jews. And you're like, okay, cool. Those are the people that need to get canceled because they are literally a liability to my existence. But as far as Kanye goes, he's a liability in his own right. But, I mean, first of all, I separate the talent from the artist, so, you know, whatever, his music is still fire. I just don't think that it was smart of him to do what he did and then double down on it, basically asking all of his sponsors to bail on him.
Okay. So, do you have any more thoughts on that, Vlad or Omid, before I say something else?
I mean, you can take it back to the subject that was derailed a second ago.
Black Lives Matter.
Okay, so that's
what we're
a
gonna say.
signal that you've run out of things to talk about, Vlad. So no, I will.
No, it's not, I'm not running out of things. I'm actually saying Black Lives Matter for Kanye's argument here, if he wants, because he's saying, I wish black people had what Jews had, and
Well, first of all, if you support Kanye, it's White Lives Matter. And second of all, Kanye claims to be a Jew, so that's a whole different topic altogether.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure he possibly could be a Jew if he went far back enough, but, I mean, it's not the way it works. So,
Right, there's a
claim
membership
whatever the
card,
fuck he
right?
wants. Yes, you're born with it. It comes off, we make it out of the tip of your dick.
He's not an anti-Semite, he's a trans-Semite.
Trans-Semite.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Trans-Semite.
I mean, you can be transgendered, you know, there's a spectrum, and then there's, you know, now there's trans-Semitism. You can be within the spectrum of being a Jew because apparently you can just claim it and follow some bullshit movement that's based on some like bullshit and be like, no, black people are the true Jews, and oh, okay, this is happening now.
Okay.
You know, it's really interesting, the term of anti-Semitism, or as you're calling trans-Semitism, because how much falls under the umbrella of being a Semite.
Well, yeah,
Like,
because
we're technically all
everybody
Semites.
from that, yeah, because it's from the region, right? Like people that are Middle Eastern or in that certain
Yeah.
region of the Middle East.
Like, yeah, like literally, like all three of us right here, we are technically Semites of different, I guess, descent. But yeah, technically we're all Semites.
I'm Philistine.
Yeah, it's kind of like saying Asians only
Arabs
refers,
are also Semites, aren't they?
I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Continue.
and Philistine is a completely different word altogether. So we can all be Philistines. It doesn't matter. But it's kind of like when people are like, "Are you Asian?" And I'm like, well, my parents are Persian, so technically, yeah. Well, no, not that. I mean, like, are your eyes small? Oh, well, in that case.
So, someone
You
actually
got them shaky eyes.
does somebody actually say that to you?
No. No, but like it's me kind of translating for them, you know?
Got it.
Because
Yeah.
like it's so stupid. Like people claim to be like, first of all, in Europe, I think it's great how Indian people are considered Asians, and like other like people that we refer to Asians, they also call them Asians, or they refer to them as like the country of origin. But over here, Indians are Indian, and then, you know, we just refer to all Vietnamese, Thai, whatever. You know, sometimes depends on who you ask, even Filipinos as Asians.
I mean, on a legal level, Indians are considered to be Asians in the U.S. I only know this because I have to do all their fucking paperwork,
Yeah.
and we label them as Asians. But
It's a technicality. Like,
I'm saying on a legal level.
yeah.
But on a legal level, as a Middle Eastern person, I have to mark white or other. But usually there's no other choice, and it has to be white, and they'll have a designation or something there.
You know, it's interesting. When I have to do like my work, I designate Middle Easterners as Middle Easterners, and I am given the option on paperwork for it. I've heard that. I've had friends who are Middle Eastern who told me like, yeah, we have to register as white, and then they were telling me something about forms being made in the future that are going to address the difference for Middle Easterners versus white people. But I don't know like which level of paperwork changes, because for me, with the legality issues that I have to deal with, we do outline Middle Eastern individuals separately from white people.
Yeah.
Thank you, 9/11.
Yeah, we talked about this briefly during our jobs episode, not Steve Jobs, just about jobs. Yeah, and then like for the longest time when I was looking for on job applications, it was always like white. There was a like Asian, Pacific Islander, Hispanic, Latino, and then white. And that's like, well, I don't fit into any of the other categories, so I default to white. It's like exactly.
Could you be Pacific Islander?
Hell
You
no.
mean-
It's like the furthest thing from what I could be. There's like
I also appreciate in all those forms that it's Hispanic, non-Hispanic, Latino, whatever. Like, there's all these designations, but they definitely have to point out non-Hispanic or something.
yeah,
I was like,
it's,
wow.
it's all for like profiling purposes. I have no idea why that matters to your job. I think this is like all for like census results. Like you're supposed to, like government collects all this data. I have no idea. Whatever. Here's like a little mindfuck for you then. So I know like I'm technically I have to mark white on a job application, but also on a different technicality, I'm also African American. Yeah. I mean, because
Yeah.
in the same way that you would register somebody like from India as Asian or whatever, I'm from North Africa. That's my mom's heritage is in Egypt. That's African, and I was born in America. That makes me African American. I'm just pointing out the logistics here. It's kind of fucking weird, but I
You
still
know
white on an application.
So you're
Glad-
just going to buy you that Black Lives Matter banner and
Absolutely not.
You know what, Vlad? If you watched the clip or the video I sent you yesterday, you would have
not sober.
That is not an excuse. People watch comedy not sober more often than not. That stand-up actually did have a joke about how when Jews were enslaved in Egypt, which was one of the richest countries in the entire world, it's just the fact that they decided to use the Jews in Africa, which is, Egypt involved, while there's the rest of Africa that probably has better slaves that complain less. I thought that was hilarious.
That's profound. I love
Ari
it.
Shafir, Jew, full special came out on November 1st, I think. It's a great watch, especially if you're Jewish and you did any studying of Judaism, because that man is like, it's about time that the Orthodox Jewish community had someone that understood their culture and was able to roast the shit out of it.
Ari Shafir is the first person to do that.
As far as I know, who did it at the scale that he did.
Okay.
I'm sure there's plenty of Jews out there, but not a lot of them are the type that grew up religious and then left and then became the type of degenerate that he is. No disrespect to him. I respect him a lot. But he did become such a degenerate to the point where he has a very fresh perspective while also knowing the law very, very well. And I know that doesn't make sense to you right now, but if you do end up watching his special, you'll understand what I mean by that.
All right, I'll give it a shot. I'm just saying that the self-deprecating Jew isn't like an original stand-up bit.
It's not self-deprecating
Okay.
at all. It's
That's
mostly he's mostly just roasting the religion in itself.
Okay.
He's not being like, "Oh, I hate myself. I'm a Jew."
Yeah.
You know what they say, the best anti-Semite is a Jew.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay. Well, anyway, to keep this conversation chugging along from about 20 minutes ago, I wanted to ask you guys something because then we've never talked about this, which is about the concept of second chances. I can already feel Omid's take on this, but let's start with Vlad. Like, how do you? Well, actually, I can pretty much hear both of you guys in my head right now what you're about to say. But what are your thoughts on second chances?
Depends.
It's super vague. Just spit it out. I don't know.
Depends.
Okay.
Like I'll give you an example. Something that pissed me off this week that I was very, very, very upset about was Netflix and their fuck up. Netflix always fucks up everything they do. Every single show, movie adaptation they try to create, they always somehow fuck it up. I don't know why. This week they fucked up The Witcher. They have Henry Cavill, who's been playing The Witcher for 2 seasons. They wrapped up the 3rd one. He's playing the main character. And season 4, they're replacing him with Chris Hemsworth, younger brother Liam Hemsworth, as Geralt. So Henry Cavill will no longer be the Witcher in season 4, which I am absolutely mind-boggled by. And it's like, Netflix, you fucked up so many times. Can you just fucking learn from your mistakes and stop fucking yourselves over and stop ruining your fan base?
I don't see the connection to second chances, but okay.
It is a second chance because they've had so many fucking chances. They keep fucking up. They can't fucking learn. Look
Okay.
what they did to fucking Death Note.
So when it comes to subscription
I feel like you
services,
just wanted to talk about that.
I don't.
No, Netflix pisses me off.
It's
Okay.
okay.
So how many chances is it? It's not a second chance at this point.
No, they've had like a million chances. They keep fucking up. They don't learn.
So have we decided that you're pro not only second chances but more?
No, I feel like people just waste second chances because whether it's DC, whether it's fucking Netflix with their fucking shitty inability to fucking learn from their mistakes and get better and like try to, be appreciative of their fan base, they throw away their second chances or third or fifth, whatever the fuck you want to have. They just throw them all away like it doesn't matter.
So do you still pay for Netflix?
No. Fuck no.
But do you borrow someone else's account?
No.
Do you still watch the shows?
Yeah, of course I watch the shows.
Okay.
So you
look, there's other ways. There's other ways to do it. Anyway, point being is that Netflix, they soil all their second, third, fifth, 100th chances to not fuck over and disappoint their fan base, but they just manage to pull it off every single time. Okay. Bring back fucking what's his name? Henry Cavill to The Witcher. Netflix, don't be a fucking bitch.
Was it Henry Cavill's choice or was it Netflix's choice to get rid of him?
I'm hearing two different things from what I've been able to read. One of them is, Henry Cavill, he plays Superman, and they recently announced they are gonna make another Superman movie, so he's gonna put on the cape again and all this stuff. One theory was that there might be schedule conflicts, which to me seems like an easy pause production, wait till he finishes and comes back, people will not be mad. Option 2, from also what I heard and read, was that Henry is supposedly, of course Netflix has to do this, Henry Cavill actually played the games for The Witcher and he read the books, so he knows the whole source material, the whole lore. He's very passionate about it. He's a nerd. And from what I heard in this article was that supposedly Netflix decided to change the story for the show in such a grave manner that it really kind of threw away the entire source material damn near, and Henry Cavill was like, I'm not gonna partake in that. So he told them like, no, either we rewrite the story, go back to the actual source material, or I'm done. These are the two different varying articles that I've read about why he might not be returning for season 4.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on people?
Well, people don't fucking learn. Netflix is a prime example of people not learning their fucking mistakes. Unfortunately, this is going to be a bit more negative, but whatever. I feel like for a lot of people, second chances are just kind of like a get out of jail free card. They kind of use it as like, guess I'm off the hook.
Yeah.
Cool. No, fuck you. And that's why you have to really be a bit more like, don't be so gracious with second chances. Be petty. Fucking make sure you know who you're giving them to, and make sure how much of a leeway you give them moving forward. People need to learn their place.
There it is. There's the Vlad I was looking for.
Yeah.
Your disdain for people. Well, I'm not that different. I don't know.
It's not because I'm a negative person. It's because the world has been accumulatively building towards this. And for the people who are still fucking blind to it and are naive and saying, oh, you need to be kind because kindness rewards you. Dude, you have not lived in the real life of what goes on around everyone every single day. How many pieces of shit there are. I don't think that people are inherently bad. I think that people can be dumb and make mistakes. I think that there are bad people, specifically the ones who go out of their way specifically to harm others. And they do exist. They are very muchly alive and well. They exist where they purposely try to fuck people's lives up. Those are bad people. Those are the people you need to fucking bury in the ground.
Okay. Well, at risk for sounding redundant, Omid, do you have any thoughts on any of this? Or you just kind of tuned out?
I want to hear what your opinion of my opinion was, because that was... What did you think I was going to say is my question, first of all?
Well, I think you and I are pretty similar in the take that, like, they're not easily handed out second chances. Also, the fact that people take liberty with them a lot. And thirdly, that even if someone gets a second chance, I don't think they actually ever recover to their however you perceived them before. When it comes to people, I wasn't talking about Netflix, for instance. I'm talking about direct, like, your involvement with other individuals. But yeah, you can take second chances and apply that to anything. But I was most focused on people, because it kind of came off like the Kanye talk and everything like that. But anyway, yeah, how close was I?
So I actually disagree with the first 90 minutes of what Vlad was talking about. But towards the end, when he cleaned it up and summed it up, that's pretty much the same way I feel. I think that it depends on the circumstance for the most part. Like, was something malicious done? Was it on purpose? Was it another issue? I think that the second chance mostly depends on those types of circumstances. And then again, like I agree with you as well that they're not given out easily. There does need to be some kind of proof. But again, like I'm the type of person that has given up second chances way too easily. And I regret that. But I think that comes from a place of high empathy and recognizing that people can change or people can make mistakes. So you just got to gauge it. I have two examples. I actually have two examples of people that just experienced breakups where I can kind of justify in each case whether or not a second chance is deserved or not. So
Sure.
yeah, I can definitely say I'm in the middle. So I'm gonna try to sum these up as much as possible. But I have one friend. He's a male, one of the nicest guys in the world. Has a girlfriend of maybe like 9 or so years, probably more, and she physically beat him. She is literally off her meds, and she emotionally abuses him, openly cheats on him, gave the other guy a freaking key to their apartment, and yet
Shit.
this guy is still trying to get back with her. And even I'm at a point where I'm like, no, like stop. This is one situation where I'm like, I don't care how much you love her or how much you are trying to be accepting and hoping she'll change. No, she did things that are unforgivable and you need to go. It's not just one small thing, it's the whole thing. Also, as a person, she's not the best. Very vindictive, very like kind of crazy, but that's probably because of her med situation. So that's the type of person where I'll be like, no, you can't get back with them. Another one is a story from this weekend, and I hope it's going to be a little bit more relevant than Vlad's anger at Netflix. But I think we can actually have a conversation on this topic because I think there's a lot at play. Um, One of my friends, she was dating this guy for a little bit over 3 years, and this is the type of dude that everybody loves him. Everybody wants to be around him, talk to him, laugh with him, and we were all kind of in shock. Like we thought it was a joke when we got a text message that was informing us that this person was cheating for the last 3.5 years. And then when the story kind of came out more and more, it turns out the situation was that the now ex-boyfriend has been going to massage parlors and getting happy endings for the last 3 years.
Holy
And
shit.
he's been hiding it and lying about it. And, I'm sitting there thinking, like, I really like this guy. Does he deserve a second chance? And in my head, I'm just thinking, this guy sounds like he's massively remorseful. It sounds like something that it's not something that he actively really wanted. It is technically physically cheating, but it doesn't sound like the emotional part of the cheating was there. So there's a part of me that wants to say, if he's willing to make the active effort to redeem himself, fix the situation, maybe he should be allowed a second chance. But that's probably because I want him back in my life. I miss him a lot, but for her, I know it's going to be tough. I don't expect her to go through anything again, like just to, have someone back that she can't trust.
It's fine.
So there's two different situations.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I do want to talk about these, but I don't want to derail it. But I know there's gonna be a lot to come after this. But I want to take a quick break so we can get that, so we can pay our bills, get those advertisements in, and we'll come back with more about second chances and specifically Omid's stories here after this break. So stay tuned for more of Does This Offend You? Does This Offend You is absolutely, definitely, and undoubtedly brought to you by this 100% totally real sponsor.
So today's advertisement is brought to you by Pelonis. It's basically this little mini space heater, and As Danny was mentioning, I've had a very cold run in recent weeks because winter is coming, and I really enjoy being fucking hot within reason. Danny, however, he's from the Middle East. He should be used to it. He's not. He bitches constantly. This little guy, though, super useful. You plug it in, leave it on for a few minutes, and it's not like a ginormous room thing. It's for like a small bedroom, whatever. You sit there, it warms you up. Put your feet next to it, nice and toasty. Only thing is, be careful. These things have been known, not the specific model or brand, but in general, space heaters have been known to cause fires because of surge issues. That's why have a surge protector extension cord to make sure shit doesn't happen. But yeah, definitely, winter's coming, guys. You're gonna be having your balls falling off of you because it's so goddamn cold. Don't be a Danny. Get yourself a space heater. Be smart. Warm yourself up. Bring a nice girl. Cuddle together. Enjoy it. And yeah, America, gang, gang.
Okay, well, thanks for that, Vlad. And yeah, I am Middle Eastern, which would make me more attuned to the heat, I guess. But I was also raised in Daly City, which means
No, you shut up.
it was nice and foggy there, so I'm kind of torn. But dude, it's way too hot. I don't think by anyone's standards that it's okay for how high you crank the heat, and also have a space heater too on top of it all. Doesn't
I
make any
literally
sense.
put it 65, 70 degrees. It's not that hot.
No, dude,
It's not like it's 90 degrees.
the problem
It's
is
65 or 70.
the problem is you're running both. That's the issue. Like you close the window.
No. I literally run the one in the main living room. That one heats up the house. This one I put either in the garage when I smoke hookah or in my room if I'm in my room on my own. That's it. For the most part, in the living room, yes, I'm running that one so it heats up the actual house.
All right. Well, the last thing I'll say about this is you just remind me of every typical girlfriend. It's either too hot or too cold at any given moment, and you're bipolar about the entire thing altogether.
How am I bipolar?
Don't worry about it. You just are. It's either too hot or too cold.
I've
You become
literally
one
not
every
bitched
day.
about the. I've never bitched about the weather
You've been
this
on
whole
both.
year, except for right now because it's getting cold.
You've been on both tracks for sure. Like, oh god, can we open up
What?
the windows? You're the only one between the three people who live in the house. I hear the most about how cold or how hot it is in here from you. I never say anything until you actually
I
make a
bitch
decision.
about the fact that it gets stuffy because then it starts actually fucking smelling shit. Then I'm like, let's open up the window and air it out a bit. That's a different story, but it's because it's stuffy.
That's all right, Vlad. I'm gonna give you a second chance. So
Let's blow me, okay?
Speaking of blowing you
Everyone's
in
a
second
fucking
chances,
critic.
okay. All right, let's get back to Omid's story here. Can you remind me about what the first guy was? So the second guy was a guy who was addicted to like hand jobs or whatever, happy endings.
The first guy had a girlfriend who was being a piece of shit
Right,
for 9
okay.
years, and it's time to leave. Second guy, sex addict.
Gotcha.
Summoned up. There you go.
Okay. God, where do I begin? So the abusive girlfriend thing hits home for me because, well, I've never dealt with it personally. I know there's a good friend of mine who lives in Florida right now who's dealing with it, and I hear it all the time from him. Like, I literally hear the abuse. Yeah, well, don't say names, but we've said his
I
name
don't give a
100
shit.
times.
Let him be fucking put on blast. He's a
Yeah,
fucking
no,
Jew.
he
That's what they deserve.
actually gets it, and if his girlfriend actually hears this podcast, he will get it again because she's. It's
okay, Bill's character.
It's pretty fucking bad, man. So.
Built good.
How do I address this? So the second chances when it comes to an abusive relationship. I made a joke about this when we started the podcast, but I was talking about traffic and not an actual person. God, Jesus Christ. I do not. Dude, I think like physical abuse isn't even the issue. It's really what it represents. Like somebody who's not in control of their emotions or control themselves. I don't give that person a second chance.
I don't have control issues in general.
Yeah, I don't like what it represents. I don't care about the physicality. Like that sucks, but there's something there's something beneath that's more concerning to me. So if I were the guy and I was in that relationship for 9 fucking years, is that what you said, Omid?
Yup.
Dude, that's 9 years too long. I don't know when the abuse started. That's fucking, it's insane to me. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's one at a time here. But yeah, that's a big no-no. That's no second chance for me.
I think that it's one of those things where the relationship was probably so early in their lives that they're not the same people that they used to be. And I think that's one of the biggest problems of dating young or dating someone for so long is that like who we are in our 20s is not the same as who we are in our 30s. Who we are in our early 20s versus late 20s could also be a massive change. And I think one of the bigger issues is that this guy is still fully in love with the person he met in their early 20s. And I'm like, you just need to realize that that person is dead. That's not them anymore. And this is who they're going to be for the rest of their lives. Unless you do see some active changes or active decisions. But I feel like this is a situation that's so far gone that I'm like, even if I want to justify you getting back with them, I can't. I really can't. The other guy that's getting the hand jobs, I can kind of try to empathize with him and see that there is like a tiny pinhole of maybe there's something that can be forgiven here, but not the other one.
Yeah. The hand job guy, I can already hear the fucking feminist yelling at us, but yeah, I can't. I can give the hand job guy a second chance if I were the girl in that situation. Because here's my take on physical love versus emotional love. You can, I can separate the two really easily. So I don't know if I've ever talked about this before, but when it comes to relationships, I'm okay separating physical from emotional, because to me, emotional is above all. Like, that's what's important. Because I'll give you like a really easy breakdown for how I feel. I can go to a hooker, pay her $100, whatever, to get one thing, physical. I can fuck the shit out of her, or I can pay someone for a hand job and be completely relieved and then move on with my life. I can't pay a hooker to understand my soul, to understand me, to be what I've been through, to have a connection. I don't know, maybe it's happened, but I'm just saying it's really hard to find something like that. So I think emotional commitment is far superior to anything physical. So I really don't like. If it were me, I can probably move past the physical thing. Like, if it's something like you need to get out of your system, like I need to have sex all the time. You know, we talked about this in the last episode, maybe right here. You know, about like I've been through stuff like that. Like I love porn at like too much at one point. I just need to fucking jerk off, feel good, have all those endorphins rush through me. So I can feel for the guy and what he's been through. And if I were the woman, I'd be like, okay, if you can, like, if the physical, like, I'm not excusing, because I know a lot of people really hate physical cheating. Obviously, that's like huge in society. I'm the outlier for sure. But if I were the woman, I would give this guy a second chance for sure.
Do you guys think that there's a difference in how males cheat versus how women cheat?
So
I'm
can I
only
give my
bringing that
feedback?
up. Yeah, I'm only bringing that up because that's what's going on in like modern social media with like Andrew Tate and everything. But yeah, sure, go ahead, give your
So
feedback.
for the first scenario with the guy with the girl for 9 years, I would say stop being a fucking cuck. Grow the fuck up. Have some self-respect and some self-value. Um, if you want to take a shot back at the girl, do it in a way. I mean, don't physically abuse the girl, but maybe financially ruin her a bit. Go ahead, do that. I don't know, but stop being a fucking idiot. You literally need to. What's that one mental illness where people get abused and they come back to their abuser because
Stockholm
they.
syndrome.
Yeah, pretty much. That's essentially what's happening. He needs to get
That's
the
what I
fuck
told
over it.
him too.
He needs to get the fuck over and move on with his fucking life. And yeah, I mean, I get. Look, don't get me wrong. Men versus women, I will say this. I feel like this, and people can disagree with me. I feel like men, when we fall in love, it's a lot more real and heavy than when women do. I feel like we really take a long time to bounce back after love versus how women can just spread their legs in the very next month. Um, we're built differently. And this is not to sound sexist or misogynistic. I'm just saying we are built differently. We operate, we have different hormones, stats, you know. Yeah. So, but I will tell your friend, dude, drop her like a bad habit and move on. Seriously. You don't need to keep ruining yourself and your mental state for somebody who obviously doesn't give a flying fuck about you. And if they do, they don't give enough of a flying fuck about you. In regards to the second guy with the one who had to get happy endings, that just sounds like a guy with the sex addiction, and that's something that I honestly think it's. I mean, whether he deserves a second chance or not is full disclosure to the female. It's on her, but I would say that guy needs actual help because sex addiction is real, and sex addiction is kind of glossed over by people for whatever reason in our society as not really being a big thing. I know a lot of girls who freak out over guys who like watch porn and get super, super infuriated by it. I don't know why. I've never fully understood it because it's a natural thing, and I know women who watch porn too. It's fine, Obviously, don't spend all your day on it, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But at the same time, there are people who have sex addiction. And with this guy's case particularly, where he's going out to get happy endings, I don't know if he's using a condom, if he's doing bare rod, I don't know. The problem is that when you do that, you're not just putting yourself at risk, you're putting the female at risk. And that's a very, like, fucked up thing to do. And he needs to realize that. Like, which is why I say she has the full disclosure to make whether she stays with him, where if she loves him enough and understands that he has, like, a mental disorder that he needs to maybe go see a therapist about, or, take some medication to help ease his body up because he's obviously hooked on this sort of thing. That's on her. But he needs to realize he really put her in jeopardy because and get fucking tested. Because I don't know what the fuck he has. So that's me.
Wait, are you saying happy endings include sex?
Happy endings can be a blowjob, a hand job, sex. That happy ending literally just means that you orgasm.
Yeah,
fair enough.
It depends where you go, I guess. It's ambiguous.
Yeah.
I always think of hand jobs, but it depends how much you pay. You can get the whole, shebang.
Happy ending literally just means you finish climax. But how he did it is the question, and I mean, I would first stop for him for his own safety. Go fucking get tested, dude. Go to fucking what's it called? Fucking Planned Parenthood. They'll do that for like $100. They'll take care of you.
They'll take care of you there too? Nice.
Stupid.
Yeah, I actually didn't even think about that. That's pretty important. You can actually alter someone's, like, the trajectory of someone's life completely with, like, an STD or something. That's pretty fucked up.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Planned Parenthood because you just abort the life.
There's also that too. I feel like both are equally representative of how you can alter someone's life or end a life.
Point being is, if your actions have consequences, make sure that those consequences preferably don't affect you, and preferably, of course, don't affect those around you. Be respectful.
Okay, so the consensus here is the first scenario, abusive girlfriend. That's no. No second.
Yeah.
No, that's fucking. He's a cuck. He's being and
absolutely
Stockholm.
not.
Okay, no second chances. Then the second scenario, guy gets a pass. Everyone's cool with him having a
No,
second.
I don't think he gets the
say-
pass immediately. I
Okay.
think he needs to show active effort to remove that addiction. And also, I think she should be single for a while because that guy, like for most addicts, they need to hit rock bottom before they can remove the triggers, remove
That is also
the
a good point.
temptation.
So there's a path to a second chance, though, is what you're saying.
Yes.
You have to punish the person to give them a second chance.
Yeah,
If you
I
don't
don't-
punish them, it's not gonna work.
I don't think second chances should be given out easily because literally nobody like if it's a mistake or an accident, that's one thing. But if it's active choices, especially one that's been going on for 3.5 years, there's clearly a hard problem there. Or he was doing it maliciously. Either way, that shit needs to stop because it's a no-go right off the bat.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
agree.
That's the first step to any second chance. You understand that somebody is really remorseful for their actions or whatever they've done to harm you. And
And they need to be punished.
I like, in what sense? Like, you think them feeling bad is enough? Like, I feel like some people, I could, if true remorse where you're like just inherent guilt, I feel it can be enough punishment in some scenarios. Like, they
They
hate
need to be
themselves and they hate
uncomfortable.
what they've done. I feel like that's already like the first step. Like, people don't need like actual tangible punishment. Not all the time.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying go and beat them with the fucking bat.
No, I'm
but
not saying that either. But
I'm saying, like, make them suffer a bit, make them feel uncomfortable. They have to understand that, hey, like, I'm glad that you feel bad and you're sad about what you did. I'm glad you recognize what you did, but understand now there's consequences to it. And those consequences may not be here forever, but they're going to be around for a little while. And you're not going to have a great time. You might feel a little depressed, but it's okay because it's going to give you you're going to taste a little bit of that medicine that you were dishing out. How you were being a dumb fuck. Now you're going to feel the effects of your own medicine that you were dishing out beforehand.
I don't know if suffering is a good way of putting it, though, because you're making it sound like you're trying to be vindictive in a way. If anything, it's more to me. It feels like kind of like a repentance in a way. Like they need to be
Sure.
able to repent for whatever
Sure.
they did. When it comes to the person who's being hurt, for them, if it's over, it's over, and I think that's a very important aspect of it. And for the other person, there needs to be the sense of like you lost this, but then the act of a second chance does require two parties to be involved as well. Like I
I,
think both parties need to have some kind of the person who got hurt, they don't have to do anything. They just have to be open to it. The second person, they need to understand that whatever was the cause of the breakup, they need to that needs to be gone. That can't be an option that can ever happen again.
all I'm saying is that in a romantic relationship, when one person says goodbye and cuts the other one off, even if it's a temporary time, the person who gets cut off is going to be like, fuck, I lost them. And it's like, people say you don't cherish something until you truly lose it. Um, that's where the punishment is. That's where the suffering is. It's in that moment where you're like, fuck, I really lost it. Like, I fucked up. Like, this sucks. This is rock bottom. You need to go through that. Everybody does. Because, unfortunately, some people don't know what it feels like to suffer, and they feel like everything is, all their actions, regardless if they're good or bad, don't need to ever have anything bad come of it. They need to experience the bad from time to time. I'm not saying make the person so depressed they're going to go hang themselves. No, but make them feel like, hey, I fucked up. I don't like this feeling. I don't want to have this feeling again. I've learned my lesson. I'm going to be smart moving forward. That's something people need to learn.
All right. So that's all I'm saying. So what you just depicted, like the natural recourse that causes that guilt and that like introspection, that's fine with me. But like going out of your way, you can't just like dog train somebody into like changing their ways or making them feel different when they know there's gonna be like a reward on the other side of it. Like, yeah, I can be with you, but also like stop getting blowjobs on the weekends, and then we can talk about it or whatever. You can't just like lay that out the path for somebody. Like they have to suffer first, and then what comes later is a second chance or something like that.
I mean, the breakup is a suffering part for the most case.
Yeah,
that's where you kind of inflict that kind of damage on them. It's just that for that specific scenario, it comes down to the girl. The ball is in her court. She can make the decision of, I want to give this guy a chance because I see that he has a mental disorder that he is suffering with, and obviously, especially if he's willing to say, okay, I know I have this problem, I need to face it, I need to own up to it. And if he takes the steps, and she sees and she really does love him, cool. But if he's just like, oh, I'm sorry, but then doesn't even go to therapy, doesn't go see a doctor, doesn't do anything at all, doesn't make himself readily available to her to show her he's not going out of these places anymore, it's like, I mean, I don't know. I'd say that she would be wasting her time and, again, putting herself in danger because you don't know what he's doing behind those closed doors. And if I was her, I would also be like, you need to go to the fucking doctor and check everything imaginable for any diseases you might have caught.
Okay. Fair.
I feel like that's a different topic, though.
Yeah, this is hyper specific, but when it comes to second chances, let me like take this a step further. Vlad, now put yourself in the shoes of somebody has been hurt, right? You don't have to try very hard. You're probably wearing those shoes right now. But what I'm saying is, like, take yourself back. If somebody came to your door right now and was asking, like, Vlad, please, I want to give this another shot, how would you approach that?
No.
It's that easy. No.
Yeah. I'm not. I don't play that stupid fucking game.
Okay. And why is that?
Because you have to look, dude. The problem is today people have no self-respect. Like, people act like. You remember that phase in our life that people had where it was like YOLO everything. You only live once. Go do this. Go have fun. Whatever. Fuck that shit. You live every single fucking day. Okay, you're gonna have to fucking realize that you live every day, and your actions will have repercussions that will carry out through you. You only die, hopefully, once. But, you live every day, so you gotta fucking understand that your actions will carry weight. And your actions will carry weight not just on you, but those around you. And for me, like I said, I'm the kind of person who I will tell all my friends, family, whatever, make sure you respect yourself. Ain't nobody in this world, no vagina, no dick, worth the headache of making yourself feel worse. You shouldn't have to ever suffer under somebody else's boot. Especially if you're the type of person who goes and tries to make their life better. Don't let them drive you down. You are not a bad person. Don't get me wrong. Like I said before, there are bad people. They do exist. There are people literally who go out of their way to do malicious acts upon others for no fucking reason, because sometimes they're bored. Maybe they're just fucking pieces of shit. Who knows what? But for the most part, humans, theoretically, most of the bad that we do half the time is mistakes. But that doesn't mean that there aren't bad people. But respect yourself, take care of put yourself as a priority in the situation. You really have to make sure that you are okay. Your mental health is that much more important than the feelings of somebody else. There's so many people who use emotions against others, trying to be like, oh, but trying to bring up history and all this stuff. It's like, no, motherfucker. Some people milk the living fuck out of those around them, using emotions, using guilt trips. I'm sure you guys have experienced where people have tried to guilt trip you or use friendship, a history of your friendship or whatever, or romance to make you not feel good because of something that you feel like you have to do for your own mental sake.
I mean, as someone who's too nice, I can say I've easily given away second chances way too much. And I definitely let myself get taken advantage of all the time, if that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, and you shouldn't do that. You should literally, I'm not saying become a fucking vindictive piece of shit, but I'm saying at the end of the day, dude, I'm pretty sure that if you get taken advantage of, you probably have a mentality where you're like, I don't feel good. And that mentality probably makes you physically even not feel good at times because of how people might have treated you. You shouldn't let yourself have to come to this. You don't owe these people that kind of access to your life. You don't owe these people the chance to ruin your day. You don't owe these people to make you physically or mentally or emotionally feel unwell. They haven't earned that.
No.
The only people that have earned your time are the ones who actually try to make sure you're okay. When you're having a bad day, they check in on you, they call you, they text you, they come over and say, hey, what's up, give you a hug. Those are people who care. They help you out when you need it. You have a family emergency, they ask you, hey, can I help you out in any sort of way? Those are your friends, your lovers, whatever. Difference. Everybody else can go fuck themselves. You don't owe them shit. Go ahead, Danny.
No. I just want to shout out to this episode right here, Kindness versus Nicest, one of my favorites. We talked about stuff like this. But I tend to agree with what you said, Vlad, and I'll tell you what my thoughts on second chances are as a whole, is that I don't believe in second chances, and and don't take that out of context, because let me explain. I don't believe in the concept of second chances, because I will give people as much credit as they deserve and even more, and I give them the avenue to, I guess, to make themselves better, to fix themselves, what's the fucking word I'm looking for? Starts with an R. To reconcile. Vlad, help me out. What's the word?
Redemption.
Redemption. That's the word. Yeah. I give people a very long long rope for which to either pull themselves back to safety or to hang themselves with, and I do that constantly. So I never give anybody the exact moment of yes or no, I'll give you a second chance, because here's the thing, Vlad. As soon as somebody enters my life to any capacity, it is, you're cool, but everything you do from this point forward, I will judge you for, and I will not forget. That's exactly how I feel about everything, every person I've ever met. It's like, you don't need a second chance, because every action you take from this step forward will undoubtedly change my perception of you, either for the better or for the worst. And you will not get that time back, if that makes sense. So even if there's someone in your life you give a second chance to, ask yourself this: do you ever forget what they did before, or are they a completely new person to you? That's for you out there, not just you, Vlad. Everyone watching this. Even if you give someone that time, that second chance, and everything's great and well and all good, do you forget the things they did before, or is their perception completely altered from that point forward?
Look, I agree with you in the sense of, when you meet people, you want to start with a clean slate. Obviously, for me, my mentality is if I meet you, I will do my best to give you the respect of trust within reason, obviously enough. And you'll have that trust until you do something that you lose it, and then it's like, sorry. I'm not gonna, I can't backtrack your actions here. With in regards to second chances, honestly, I can really say is the only redemption that there is in this world is Red Dead Redemption. That's the only thing that really exists. Everything else is a bunch of bullshit. I mean, cool. Hey, if some people can really get back in your good graces, and you feel good about it, cool. But just don't be a fucking cuck. Don't sell yourself out. Respect yourself. At the end of the day, if you don't respect yourself, nobody else will. And how a lot of women like to tell me, if you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. So yeah, take care of yourself. You should be your own number one priority. Everybody else, obviously, unless it's like your kids and maybe your significant other, within reason, take care of yourself first. It's very important. I understand that we all have history and experiences that we go through. It's all like a balancing scale that we have to kind of put up and down. At the end of the day, hopefully, same as I've said before, make sure you feel good with your decision, because that's what you're going to have to... You want to be able to sleep at night. You don't want to have this shit keeping you up.
Yeah, cool. I feel like every person, you use the term blank slate. I feel like every person comes to you with a blank slate, but the stains can never be washed off from that slate.
Yes.
Is basically what it is. That's how I feel. It's unfortunate, but I don't feel like there's any person in this life that can ever buy themselves back to 100% or whatever. I mean, they can become a fucking saint at one point after being the worst person on the planet, but like you never forget the things they did before. Like you're happy with what they're doing now. But
you know what drives me absolutely insane though?
Yeah.
Which is what a lot of women do, and you guys probably might have experienced this too, is when women have bad relationships with other guys, and then you come into the picture and you start dating them, and they start propelling their shit from their past onto you as though you're the one doing it.
Right. They perpetuate
like how women try to
their idea.
They compare you to the past guys, and you're just like, that's not fucking me. Stop comparing me. That shit absolutely drives me nuts.
But you do the same thing to people. You don't
No.
you just trust a lot of people because of what's happened to you in the past, right?
Listen, no. I look at people as being shit because,
and I wonder why.
No. There's a difference.
Yeah.
If I've had friends in my past who have fucked me over, and who fucked my friends over and whatever. I've been friends with you for 15 years plus at this point.
Yep.
Have I ever told you, Danny, you remind me of this one guy that fucked me over in the past? Have I done that to you? No, because you're my friend. We have our own separate relationship in our friendship. Okay. Like I said, I trust you until you give me a reason not to.
Well, I'm Palestinian. Does that help?
I don't give a shit. Like, believe me, if I had to go off the pattern behavior of everybody and be like, oh, you're Arab? You must be a fucking terrorist supporter. No, fuck that shit. You're my friend. I judge you on an individual basis.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Okay?
Yeah. I got you.
It's like Steve.
Yeah.
He's fucking retarded. He's a Jew. He's supposed to be smart, but he's a little retarded. We still love him, though. Right, Steve?
Hi, Steve, if you're watching this. He's our number one fan, by the way, and we constantly throw him under the bus.
I love Steve.
Yeah.
I love Steve. But, yeah, like, he's supposed to be a smart fuck, but he's kind of generally a dumb fuck. But we still love him. But, yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that drives me nuts, because women, they can't differentiate between individual relationships. They have to always revisit the past with other guys. And it's like, save that shit for the guy who you went through that shit with. Don't put it on me.
Yeah. I mean, not to really stay focused on the relationships, because second chances apply to a lot of things. What I will say is that, like, as the old adage goes, like, once the paper is crumpled up, it can't be perfect again. I don't even know if that's an adage or if that was just Linkin Park, but I always remember that whenever I do.
When you cut yourself.
Yeah, when I'm alone in my room, I listen to Linkin Park. I remember that saying phrase when I cut myself. No, let me. Okay, I can tell Omid's losing his patience with this conversation, but let's make this a little less personal. But like, how do you feel about convicts coming back to society?
Depends on the crime.
Do you think murderers can come back?
Depends on the crime. If it's a murder of like if let's say I murdered somebody because they were trying to kill a family member, or I murdered somebody because as revenge for killing my family member, or because I was protecting somebody else, whatever. Murders happen that way too, unfortunately. Manslaughter. That can be redeemable because, sometimes these guys did it for good reasons, and sometimes that's why I've said before, the justice system is just, doesn't mean it's always right.
No,
Sometimes people.
I'm just saying, in your eyes, let's just say for the conversation's sake, the justice system does their job well. So if someone comes up to you and they're like, I am a convicted murderer. I did do it. They are 100% right. I killed that guy in cold blood, but I've changed my ways. How do you address that person?
I would say, I mean, dude, that's a really hard thing to do. For me to believe that you can just change your pattern behavior like that and not have, especially if you're a murderer who's killed multiple people and you come out being like, yeah, I've changed my ways. I'm not gonna think that you changed your ways because it's a really hard sell. If you killed one person because of the passion in the moment type of thing, like, maybe. But if you're literally a convicted murderer who's like a serial killer, killed multiple people, I'm not gonna buy under any circumstances that this person has changed their ways. It's just not gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
They tick a certain type of way. And no amount of medication or therapy is gonna change that.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I guess it's a little. I guess the punishment and the crime, or whether it be relationships or just people in general, it definitely changes your perception of what second chances mean, or how you apply them.
It's like I said, it's all a case by case scenario. You can't there's no blanket statement to really make.
Yeah,
you can't cover everything.
Yeah, I know, I get it. But yeah. Anyway, Omid, are you okay? We lost you there, bud.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, for sure. All right, we'll stop being boring then with second chances and all that shit. Of course, I had to make it meta.
Can we talk about Netflix still fucking us over, please? Fucking Christ.
I genuinely couldn't care less about that topic.
Pisses me off.
About Netflix?
I really...
Yeah. Like look, have you not watched Death Note?
No, I don't care enough about streaming and shit like that.
I just watched it.
Did you watch the Netflix adaptation afterwards?
I didn't know there was one.
Yeah, there is. It's fucking garbage. Watch it and see how many.
Oh, is it like live action or something like that?
It's live action, yes.
Oh yeah, I'll pass on that.
Or fucking how they ruined Cowboy Bebop, or how they fucking ruined. What else do they fucking make? They're making Avatar right now. It's coming out pretty soon. And then what else are they making?
I mean, your outrage right now is very like reminiscent to me of like a Karen that went to a stand-up show and just wants to like trash or cancel the comedian or something, and usually the best response to that is don't watch it, don't listen to it. Like,
no,
I don't care. Like, if people want to fuck up Dragon Ball Z too, I just won't watch it. Like, it's people.
But I like that show. That's the problem. I like Dragon Ball Z.
Are you mad that you feel forced that you're gonna have to watch it?
No, I feel mad. I feel mad that they took a great art piece like The Witcher, that had a great storyline, has great origins, was a good live action show. They actually did a good job with it, and they're gonna soil it now with a really fucking dumb move that they literally don't have to do. There's nothing forcing them to do.
So why can't you just appreciate who she was and move on? You gotta let go, man. You stop being a fucking cuck and let her go.
No, okay. I want this show to finish.
You see,
properly.
And this is what my first buddy in the 9-year relationship is going through too. Just can't let go.
Look how many people fucking complain about Game of Thrones and that shit got at the end of the season.
Jesus Christ!
It's just trendy it's just as trendy, especially on dating apps, to hate the final seasons of Game of Thrones like it is to think that Office is the funniest show on the fucking earth.
I don't think it's the funniest show on the earth, but it's funny.
That's what I'm saying. But everybody everywhere complains or praises the exact same things. I don't.
I mean,
give a
I don't care for
fuck.
Game of Thrones. I'm just saying people got mad because they invested what 7 or 8 seasons of their life into this fucking show to watch it, just to have a movie company try to take a swing at a season that hasn't even been written yet, to try and see, oh, maybe we can make it a good ending for it, and just completely torch the whole thing.
I mean, no, technically, their only job was to end it, not make an ending. The George R. Martin he created the ending of it. They just executed it as with what they had, which was nothing. Because George R. Martin did not write a full length completion of the story. He literally just wrote, this happens, and then this happens, and this is the end. Go make it. I'm working on House of Dragons.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Either way,
point the finger wherever you want, but again, you just got to appreciate it for what it is and dump it when you want. Let it leave on a high note. One show that I'm really upset that ended is Blue Mountain State. It's only 3 seasons. I wish there was more, but there's a part of me that's kind of like, you know what? I'm glad it ended on a high note because I have really nothing bad to say about it except for the fact that it ended. There's also another show
agree.
about like people who work in catering. Super funny. Lasted only 3 seasons as well. Ended on, for me, a high note. So I'm just kind of like, oh, Party Down. Party Down is the show. Yeah. Great show. Anybody who hasn't seen it yet, great to pass the time. I wish there was more, but I'm also completely okay with being like, let it be where it is. Scrubs,
Listen.
They tried to bring it back. Scrubs is my favorite show of all time. That last season didn't completely ruin that for me, but again, I still like the show. I'll watch the other reruns that last season. Maybe not so much. Let's move on.
I agree with you in regards to, we're about to run out of time right now. No, I agree with you that if a show ends on a high note, cool. That's why Blue Mountain State being canceled, I wasn't very upset because of that factor. They didn't ruin the show. The showrunners didn't fuck up the whole story. They actually left it. They just got canceled. It sucks. It was a bit too gritty for society, I guess, or whatever. But that's the difference between leaving it at a high note versus ruining it. That's why a lot of people are complaining, saying, finish off with season 3. Just end it there. It's Henry Cavill. We don't need a season 4 then. Fuck it. Netflix isn't stopping. They're replacing him. They're trying to take that next node that they don't need to do, and that's what's ruining the show for people.
Yeah, but there's too much money in it. You forget about that.
Yeah, Netflix is a greedy piece of fucking shit, and they don't fucking learn from their mistakes. That's the problem.
All right, Vlad. It's okay. Everything's going to be okay.
No!
Jesus Christ.
No!
All right.
No.
If I have any more room to plug links, we definitely talked about that here. Vlad and Omid really got into it over other shows. But yeah, have you said your piece on the matter, Vlad?
I'm just pissed off.
I know you are. It's gonna be okay, buddy. It'll be fine.
And maybe it won't be, but that's also okay because you're gonna have to get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until they reboot
So just do it. That's how you fix people. Just get over it. Just do it.
it. Yeah.
Just Jew it in your case.
Give them the cliched sentiment. Perfect. All right. Well,
Just Jew it.
yeah, just do it. Okay. With all that being said, this has been another episode of Does This Offend You? Don't forget to like, share, comment down below. Tell us about people or things you've given second chances to. Certainly not The Witcher, according to Vlad. And don't forget to subscribe.
Netflix.
And whatever, fine.
Not Witcher, Netflix.
Tell us about how much you hate or love Netflix. Whatever. Don't forget to subscribe also here and follow us over on Spotify. I am Danny. That is Vlad. That is Omid. Next week, we test out 50-year-old parachutes. Vlad jumps out first. Stay tuned for more. See you soon.
Just